Thomas the Tank Engine was working a late-night shift at the local sex shop that was open 24/7. He slumped over the counter and rested his head on the cash register, which was covered in sultry pictures of cars.
I'm so bored, I'm going to rust at this rate. At least there are only 20 minutes left of my shift.
Out of the corner of his eye, he spotted a sports car with a rad ass lingering in aisle 69. Thomas decided to offer this mysterious beau some assistance, both out of obligation and curiosity.
Anything I can help you with?
Thomas asked timidly. The car whipped its head around instantly. Thomas felt his engine flutter and throb with lust. The handsome customer in front of him was none other than Lightning McQueen. Lightning McQueen was an intimidating car. He had smoldering good looks, power, wealth, and respect. Thomas tugged at his skimpy made outfit, suddenly embarrassed. He couldn't seem to pull his eyes away from McQueen's sculpted. Well, aren't you a dainty tank engine? McQueen trailed off, his eyes falling gently to Thomas's décolletage. I actually do need help finding a mahogany arm spreader, a gas mask, and a spanking horse. I'm new to this area, so I haven't had the privilege of getting myself familiar with the treasures the shop has in store. He laughed and shot him a smirk, his blue eyes twinkling.
They're just over there.
As Thomas navigated McQueen through the aisles of BDSM equipment, he could feel his thong riding up his crotch, making him even more flustered.
This is our finest arm spreader,
Thomas explained, gesturing with his wheels. Are the belts leather? How much weight can they support?
Of course, the belts are true leather. It can support the weight of any transportation vehicle, so it's very versatile.
So I suppose this baby could support your weight as well, McQueen said. Thomas was stunned. Lightning McQueen was flirting with him. He continued, Don't be shy with a body like that. I could give you the world. He winked and revved up his engine. Smoke billowed from Thomas's smokestacks, and he could feel that the heat was rising in his engine. He nodded and proceeded to the checkout with McQueen's equipment in tow. McQueen paid for his items and thanked him. I'll see you around. He glanced at his name tag. Thomas, here's my card. Thomas graciously accepted and watched as McQueen rolled out the door. Thomas knew McQueen was a dangerous car, but the allure was strong. Later that night, Thomas visited the address on the card. The garage had a sleek black exterior, with floor-length windows to let in intimate light. He knocked on the door and it lifted, cascading McQueen in silky light. The moonlight captured his gleaming, fiery paint job. His decal sleeve complemented his tinted windows. Thomas wondered what secrets they hid. You came, said McQueen, his soft baritone voice sweeping Thomas off his feet. Or should I say, I'll make you come. He forcefully seized Thomas by the pilot and shifted into reverse, drawing him into the dimly lit garage. He still had not found the chance to speak. Glancing around, he noted the extensive collection of sex memorabilia. McQueen owned everything from dildos to intricate bondage ropes and collars. You should know, vanilla relationships aren't my type. I like my love hot and tight, like flaming hot Cheetos.
I understand.
McQueen bit his lip. Thomas, as your dominant, you shall obey my every word. You are a slave to me, to torture and fuck until my oil bubbles. Only speak when you're spoken to. Can we agree that the safe word is mercy? Thomas nodded, glancing down sheepishly. He was ready to embrace McQueen's tasteful kinks and his role as a submissive partner. His musk alone was the most potent aphrodisiac Thomas had ever encountered. Do you trust me? McQueen asked seductively, his eyes dancing playfully. Letting out a warm breath of air, Thomas surrendered his control.
Yes, anything for you.
Thomas watched him hesitantly as he allowed McQueen to fasten him to the arm spreader suspended from the wall. McQueen rubbed the blindfold across his shiny bumper before tying it around Thomas's eyes. The sensory deprivation heightened his other senses. He felt more receptive to the touch of soft feather encircling his wheels and drifting across his axles. He trembled ever so slightly, arching against his restraints. "You've been a dirty whore, Thomas," he growled. An unusual energy surged through Thomas's engine. McQueen outlined his figure with a riding crop before smacking Thomas.
The way he blurs the lines between pleasure and pain makes them one and the same.
Thomas thought to himself. He continued whipping Thomas several more times, alternating between feather and rising crop, and with a slight uptick in force with each cycle. McQueen was exploring Thomas's limits, familiarizing himself with the working parts of the demure tank engine. Thomas let out a soft moan as McQueen rubbed him
Aww.
first on the buffers, then on the chassis. He knew what he was doing. Those tires had superior tread that was ideal for massaging anyone into submission.
Harder, please.
Thomas whispered. He observed McQueen's broad figure flex through the blindfold. "I need you to beg,"
Please.
Thomas
Make
said,
love.
tears welling in his eyes.
Make love to me. I don't care how much it hurts. I beg you.
Without caution, McQueen thrust his steel parts into Thomas's delicate workings. His engine roared and exhaust clouded the room like a fine, sexy mist. His pheromones undeniably turned Thomas on like a light bulb, and Thomas felt the pulse in his boiler, growing more heat with every skilled maneuver McQueen made. He thought his wheels were going to fall apart because his bolts were rattling. "Is this what you wanted, you filthy cunt? This is what it feels like to be my bitch," he groaned, puffing harder. McQueen plunged deeper into him, revving his engine and accelerating. He let out a deep groan. They were both on a fast track approaching a climax. McQueen gave it all he had left to close that gap. Ka-chow! He yelled, crossing the finish line. A rod of lightning buzzed through Thomas, and every gear in his body clenched. His sharp whistle blew harder than it ever had, like a tea kettle whose water was about to boil over, and a wave of relief washed over him. McQueen quickly and reluctantly undid the restraints, and the two of them collapsed next to each other. They were panting hard, exhausted, and beads of sweat raced down their skin. McQueen leaned in to kiss Thomas intimately. They both exchanged tongue and saliva for a few minutes, their hearts eventually slowing down to a relaxed beat. Thomas broke the silence.
That was amazing.
He grinned, stroking McQueen's hood gently. "It was my pleasure," McQueen said. "We should do this again. This is just the beginning. Oh, the things I could do to you."